Well, hello everyone. It's Daniel Stoneman here from Explore Careers. I hope you're all well. I'm absolutely thrilled today to welcome to the executive series of the Explore Careers program. We have Paul Chase, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Leidos Australia. Welcome to the program, Paul.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there's going to be many students out there, career advisors, teachers and parents who may be thinking to themselves, Leidos, who is Leidos and what do these guys actually do?
Well, it's probably a good question. We have customers that ask that as well when we first meet them. The brand and Leidos is a technology company, really. There's two types of technology companies, those that invent products and those that solve problems for customers. And we're a company that comes in and develops applications and solutions to solve customer problems, mostly with government and large corporations. But we do other things like your tax office, tax returns are submitted online. The back-end systems to those are supported by people working on Leidos systems. And a number of defence systems are also built by Leidos. So we cover everything from health to high technology to aerospace, and build solutions that people that we engage with need.
Absolutely. And I guess, the audience we're dealing with obviously is students. Now, do you remember when you were at school, perhaps maybe the subjects that you chose at school, and did you have an understanding or did you have a dream about when you left school you wanted to be what exactly?
No, I don't think I had a clear vision. I suppose I went to a tech school, so I was learning a trade, and so I started down the trade route and then went through TAFE into university. So I didn't take a completely traditional path to start, but I suppose my main interests were in technology and electronics and building things, whether that's inspired by earlier Lego involvement. I really did love building things, and so eventually ended up in an engineering company where we build technology solutions. Yeah.
So from obviously school, as you said, technology, those types of, areas of interest, starting at the Lego and building the cranes and the buildings and all that sort of stuff, to give you a bit of a passion about getting involved in that. And then from there, obviously went to university. And then can you tell us from being at university to now being obviously the chief executive of, a global business, what did that journey look like from university to where you are today?
Yeah, for me, I started in engineering. I found engineering a little dull, I suppose, at university. So I actually joined the Air Force. It would have been a good idea to turn off my phone. So I joined the Air Force for 4 years, studying with the Air Force, and worked with the Air Force doing aircraft-related engineering for about 15 years before entering industry. So, of course, when I left, I joined projects that were still very defence-related, working around aircraft and aircraft systems. But now, moved through a number of different roles in the company, from running projects to doing research to running projects again, and slowly managing larger projects, bigger dollar values, and then eventually, in the last year, I've been appointed the CEO, looking after virtually just a large collection of really interesting technology projects for customers that have really exciting missions. I think that's what really drives you to deliver those projects and keeps you interested.
One of the questions that a lot of students seem to ask is when they see a business that is a global business, one of the first, or at least the second question that usually comes through is, does that mean there's opportunities for me internationally? If I join the business in the Australian operation, does that mean there are opportunities for us to move internationally?
Yeah, we have people rotate through the US doing different jobs. I suppose different industries have a more global approach. We develop projects mainly for Australian customers, so really is leaving the local company to move in the US. But other technology companies like us have more global projects, and they often move people around, particularly ones that sell product to multiple countries. We tend to sell locally to Australia and Asia, so travel is there. But yeah, I've studied overseas. I've spent probably travel overseas 4 or 5 times a year normally, pre-COVID, and we usually have people working both here and in the US together. We're very a US and UK company, so those are our focuses. But yeah, a lot of people do enjoy the travel aspects of it and the internationalness of it. But other people in different times of their life like stability and being close to family. So it's not for everyone.
Yeah, and talking about stability and talking about COVID, how's Leidos fared through, obviously, the beginning of the year to where we are today, from, as a business, services to obviously staff working remotely? How's that impacted Leidos?
We've been fortunate. Our customers, being defence and large government departments, have continued on. So whereas a lot of the companies similar to us that have a lot of commercial companies, customers have been affected, we've largely been unaffected, fortunately. We continue to deliver essential services, and so our people come to work. Others, because we do a lot of software development with the cloud computing and virtual workspaces, we have well over half our workforce working from home. That some people enjoy that, others not so much. But luckily, software development is something you can do all times of the day and quite remotely in a lot of cases.
So where do you see the business in terms of, obviously, as you said, some people are enjoying working remotely. Some people prefer to, leave work at work and then be able to come home. Where do you see the Leidos, business? Because this is a lot of the topic that's going around at the moment in terms of what the work landscape will look like for people in the future. From Leidos' perspective, have you got any, insight into perhaps maybe the next 6 to 12 months? Is a business seem to be working quite well, being able to work remotely, and that might be something that's going to be continuous?
Yeah, different parts of the business. We do some work with physical building things where we do assembly and test and manufacturing type activities. Those just don't work virtually, so they will return to exactly how they were. A lot of the software development, particularly at the large scale, people do interact quite well virtually. So some of that may stay a little bit more at home and in the office. With a mix that we wouldn't have otherwise envisaged. But a lot of the services functions, so a lot of people in finance and in HR and others, I think we'll see a permanent change to how they approach the work, probably more virtual and visiting the office spaces. We have direct clients that we deal with daily that have operational systems that go down or need intervention or other things. So it's not one size fits all, and I think that's going to be a factor for people when they look at work choices in the future. There's certain employees with certain types of work that will inherently allow more flexibility. We have people obviously supporting people undertaking combat missions in war zones in some parts of the company overseas. Those people are not doing those activities from home. So I think it'll be an important factor when people choose a career, how compatible they are with the style of work it's going to require.
And so what are the different types of opportunities? I guess if you look at the early entry points into your business, whether not through a graduate program or the like. So what does, an early entry point into your business look like? And I guess what are, obviously quite a large business in terms of the different, services you provide. So I guess from entry level, what that looks like in terms of the different types of opportunities that you can expect to have with Leidos.
Yeah, we have a fairly professional workforce, so we mostly take graduates. So we have a large graduate round. So most of our early recruiting would be focused at a graduate type level. We have some technical roles. We've changed based on the project. We have different needs for trade at times. So we would normally take people that are qualified in their trade as an early entry. We have traineeships for people that are studying at TAFE and those sort of pathways. So, we really encourage people to do those cadetship or other type activities. And, without doubt, that's the most common way we get graduates have come in. And I think the market ebbs and flows at different times. Sometimes we have 1,000 graduates for 30 positions, and sometimes we only have 70 people apply for 30 positions. We take about 30 graduates every year in computer science and mechatronics type areas. For a mid-entry career, a lot of the people that we have in our other activities, such as maintenance or logistics or finance and others, we tend to have more mid-level entry people, because it's a supporting function for the business. So we tend to take people that have worked in other accounting businesses and others and bring them into our business. We also are very keen to make sure that we understand the customer's goal, whether that's collecting tax or processing healthcare records or a defence function. So we have a lot of ex-servicemen joining in different roles to give us that focus on the customer, or people from our customers that help with the business side of it. So for somebody, in leaving school, the opportunities to do work experience are probably in some form is very important, I think, for most of the contact. There is so many. It is such a competitive market at different times. Other times not so competitive, but there's always somebody seems to have something more on the resume. And I have no doubt, often when we look at the graduates, the quality of graduates, we could offer twice as many of the roles given the calibre of people we get through. So.
And Paul, from a diversity perspective, obviously, diversity in the workplace is obviously a hot topic for nearly every business and industry. So is your particular industry or business, is it swayed, a particular direction in terms of, do you feel that, female applicants or young female applicants think that it's more of a boys' club? Do you, from an Indigenous Torres Strait Islander perspective, what are some of the key focuses that you have?
Yeah, it's a sizable part of the business effort from our engagement with our employees and about developing our workforce. We actively target women in STEM activities and try and encourage female graduates to get a higher level of participation in our company and more than our fair share of women graduates. It tends to be more difficult in the software field. The number of engineering graduates and science graduates that are women in computer science is lower than, say, my daughter is a biomedical graduate, or others that seem to have a slightly better number, but still not the numbers that we see in other domains. So it's a real challenge for us as a business. We have targets that we try and achieve in terms of recruiting. Our customers expect that. We review with our customers our achievement of diversity, and that means all types of diversity. We have a pride group in our company to promote inclusion at all levels in the company, and particularly with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. There's a number of programs that we work with our customer on trying to increase the participation. But again, everything we do is driven by the availability of talent, and I think that's one thing I'd say is, particularly in the ICT and cyber fields, there is virtually unlimited demand for highly skilled people. So if people have any way of standing out in that field, or focusing on that, there's certainly great career opportunities. We also, as a company, try and allow all our staff to participate in the community activities, whether that's encouraging people to take STEM subjects or whether it's job fairs and other activities that we can put some of the benefits of being in an ICT career or an engineering career into the marketplace.
And obviously, you being a parent, I'm a parent myself. In terms of obviously, a lot of pressure put on, parents and career advisors and teachers to help set up their kids or students for a career outside of school and go down a particular pathway. So. I guess as CEO, is there any particular message when we do have parents and career advisors and teachers who listen to these, I guess, podcasts and video interviews? Is there anything in particular that you would like them to know and why they should be really, talking to their students about Leidos?
Yeah, I suppose I obviously my kids are in their 20s and they've all gone through different pathways into the workforce, and I suppose it is competitive to get that first position, but it's also competitive longer term down track as the industry changes. So people should view it as a challenge to keep learning, and it doesn't really matter what career you've chosen. It is actually the becoming better and learning more. One of my kids is surprisingly good at maths, and the other one surprisingly not, and they've both navigated career choices that maximise their skills, and I think that's one important thing. You don't need to be focused on a particular qualification. You need to be focused on a qualification that will get you employment, and then focus on how you develop yourself. We've got an executive team in this company. We're a reasonable sized company, about 1,400 people, and the executive team that I lead has people with multiple degrees, but it also has people without degrees that have taken a different path through their career. The thing to remember is it's always competitive, so there's always somebody you're compared against. So you need to think about how you will fare up in a group of resumes, and it's other activities that stand out. It's very true that community activities, showing initiative and other things, it's not just about academic achievement. You need to be a well-rounded person, particularly in marketing and sales and other fields. There's a lot of other aspects to being a successful employee or making a successful career.
And obviously we have listeners all around Australia. So if you look at the Leidos business in terms of opportunities and career opportunities, where are those opportunities around Australia? They're thinking, well, I'm in Canberra, I'm here, I'm there. Where are they?
Mostly in Melbourne and Canberra. We have people all around the country, depending on the project. We have people, but if as a graduate, you would most likely join us in Melbourne and Canberra. You'll see us at most universities looking for graduates, and we're based there. It is interesting that the process of interviewing now, it's a lot of virtual interviews, so we interview a lot more people. So, practicing your interviewing skills is important, whereas, maybe 10 years ago, the pile of resumes was filtered down to a smaller number that were interviewed. Now, we can obviously screen a great number of people. I met with our graduate year this year virtually, obviously, the 30-odd graduates we've got, and the one thing in common, they can all articulate their skills and their benefits and what they want to achieve very clearly, more clearly than I would have when I was a graduate. They're practicing those skills and going on those interviews and doing the work experience to have a real understanding is really important to be able to project what you want to do and what you can do for the business as well. It's a mutual thing.
Yeah, and I guess that was going to lead into my question. Obviously, with your experience and I guess breadth of knowledge in terms of from studying engineering to now being CEO, working overseas and being involved in many areas of business. What advice can you give, I guess, young people at the moment who I guess are about to finish schooling, going to the university, and I guess now looking for their next chapter of their career? What's some advice that you can give them in terms of their forward thinking?
Most of them have done a group assignment at some point during if they are at university or at school. And there's always been the guy or girl that has that has worked later, got it finished, and sort of brought everything together. You know, when you start in your career, it's no different. You know, there's the person that didn't turn up on time. There's the person that didn't do their share of the work, and there's somebody else that's contributing more than others. You want to be the guy or girl that people depend on to get it done. It doesn't matter. There's a lot smarter people in our business than the ones that are necessarily successful. It's people that you can rely on to deliver. So it's building a reputation that, you know, no matter how difficult it is, we get on and do it. Now, that's not for every job. A lot of jobs are more transactional. You complete your tasks and you complete them well, and you go home and, you know, with the satisfaction of a job well done. As the pay rates increase and the pressure increases, it's about achievement, and you know, having a good reason why it doesn't happen isn't really success. And it's, you meet a lot of people running larger projects that are relentless in ensuring they live up to the commitment that they made. If they were going to deliver it, they deliver it. Those are the sort of people that get ahead. You can be very academically smart and employed in some very niche areas, and we have those people in the company, and they can have very good careers. But by and large, the people that get ahead are the ones that follow through on their commitments.
One of the common, I guess, traits a lot of CEOs have said in I guess their answering of a lot of these questions is, you know, when they've joined the business and they've gone up through the ranks, they've had a mentor. They've had someone they've been able to learn off, their experience, which has really helped them, you know, take that next level. How important do you think, Paul, it is to a young person to enter, I guess, the corporate side and actually find a mentor and learn from those people rather than trying to just work it out on their own bat?
Yeah. It is essential. I mean, it wasn't something that was common in the workplace when I joined, and you form your own views about how to go about things. Later on, I've had some great mentors. Our previous CEO, Christine, was a great leader and taught me a lot of things about how to go about building teams and other aspects. But I think, you know, the thing that lets you down is the thing you're not good at and the thing you would avoid doing. I'm a very technical engineer. If I was left alone, I'd prefer to get in and help the engineering part of the project. So I've got to be careful about the human element and the financial elements and the other bits that I tend to stay away from. So that mentor is the person that can act as your conscience to say, well, you know, you should be looking at these activities. You should be approaching it differently. And also, as your teams get bigger, there comes a point where you can only influence others to influence others rather than direct yourself. So, you know, learning those habits is not very easy, and it's a lifelong challenge which I'll continue on. But yeah, I would say about a third of the leadership team here actively has mentor and coaching in different aspects, and that can start. All our graduates get a mentor when they join the company, and a buddy to give them two aspects. One, somebody to navigate around a new workplace, what you should be doing, and then two, helping them get to where they want to go or navigate through what they would like to see in a career. You know, a lot of people, like myself, when you start your first job, find that it wasn't quite what you had in mind. And the quicker you demonstrate to people that you should be doing something else and get there, the happier you'll be.
Absolutely. Well, look, Paul, I think that gives, I guess, our listeners a really good insight into Leidos. I think they probably would have started the interview with who's Leidos to most likely thinking, you know what, this is an organisation perhaps maybe I haven't been thinking of, and I now really should be thinking about a future employer. I think students, if you're out there, career advisors, teachers and parents, and you want to find out more about Leidos in terms of if you are leaving university through the graduate program, and just want to find out more generally about what Leidos may look like for you, then obviously you can jump onto explorecareers.com.au and find out the Leidos information there. And of course, you can jump onto the Leidos websites and go to their careers page and find out everything you need to know about a future career within the business. But I think, Paul, we all really appreciate your time today. It gives us a really good insight to hear from the CEO of the business. And we wish you and your team all the very best for the remainder of the year. And again, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much, and good luck with your careers.
Thanks, Paul.
See you guys.
Cheers.